Good evening, everybody. So I had a bunch of people ask for a more traditional type video where I actually am commenting as I'm driving. So you asked and I am delivering. So we are driving on FSD 10.8. We are running to pick up some COVID tests that my school is providing to all the students. We had a awesome drive yesterday to get bagels that I posted where I had a completely zero disengagement, absolutely perfect drive. I'm going to be a little extra careful tonight because it's about 35 degrees out and it's icy, and as great as 10.8 has been doing, we still do have some momentary phantom braking, and the last thing you want is quick braking on icy and slippery conditions. So we have a right-hand turn coming up here. It's coming in very quickly too. Made that turn perfectly fine. It just waited a little long to slow down. Again, if under normal conditions, that would have been fine. My only gripe is that, again, it could be a little bit icy out, and had it been icy, that would have not been the best turn right there. But again, so far, I went from 10.5 to 10.8. I did not make it in the 10.6 round or the 10.6.1 round. So it's just telling me that my FSD might be degraded because one of the cameras is occluded. So we'll see how that affects things. But back to what I was saying, in 10.5 was the last version I had, and then I went right from 10.5 to 10.8. So I actually got to see some pretty significant improvements coming from 10.5. And overall, I would say 10.8 is a little more, it's hard to really explain it. I guess it's more like jittery when it's driving, but that's the only behavioral change that I've really noticed. But it seems to be much more confident executing just general, regular maneuvers. And like I said, I've had tons and tons of disengagement-free drives. My plan is for the next couple days is every single drive I go on, I'm going to post up just so you can get a feel for how much better it's been doing. That's a good right-hand turn. I don't know what. So right there, it made that turn, but if I was new to using this, I would have been a little uncomfortable with how, you see how it kind of creeped in to that oncoming lane, and then it creeped in again to the oncoming lane. A better behavior would be for it to just sit there and and wait its turn instead of like constantly creeping. But again, it did actually make the turn okay. coming up here, I have a right-hand turn. Now, in 10.8, it still is having difficulties rendering the stop sign. Once it gets up to the stop sign, it'll show as if there's, I believe, 2 or 3 stop signs right next to each other. So you should see that on the screen in just a moment here. Oh, you know what? I take that back. I guess they did fix that in 10.8. So I should have said in 10.5, it was, did a good job going around that car. In 10.5, it was rendering, and in all previous betas, it was rendering 3 stop signs there. But it did a great job just showing the 1 there, so that's good. So that's another improvement. For those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you'll notice over the past couple weeks I've been uploading some different types of videos, not just Tesla specific videos. And that's really, me just getting my feet wet, trying to get a sense of, learning YouTube and learning how to use my equipment. I'm actually going to start taking a class on monthly starting next week with, actually a week after next with Casey Neistat. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. And I've bought a bunch of equipment. My camera in the car now is a Sony A3, and I have some pretty cool super wide angle lens that I bought that's also on this camera. And then the outside is still my GoPro that's up on the top of the car. So we're almost here. We're just pulling into the school now. But this has been another disengagement-free drive, so excellent job, 10.8. This is a parking lot. It's really not supposed to work in parking lots, so I hold no ill will towards Tesla for that. So, all right, I'm going to sign off now, and we will be heading back home in just a moment. Got my tests, and we are heading back home now. Okay, well, all right, so there's our first problem we've had. This first time I've had this in 10.8. It's trying to pass, we're at a stoplight. I'm guessing because it thinks this car, according to the screen, is over too far. But it was trying to go around the car, and it should not be doing that. Sorry for the bell. Let me get that out of here. If you hear the bell, you're still believing. So, all right. So again, what just happened there was the car thought that the car in front of us was just sitting there, and so it tried to go around it. It's done this on betas as far back as I've been testing for, so I believe 10.2. Or, yeah, I believe 10.2, I think, is when I started. That was a good right turn. It's hunting for the lane a little bit here. It thinks that it's a slightly wide lane on the right, so back there it was sometimes thinking there was 3 lanes, but there's only 2. Also, I know that's been kind of controversial, but I love the new user interface. The fact that I can change the icons at the bottom of the screen, you know, kind of like a dock on a Mac. I love that. I like how they've incorporated the ability to use the cameras when you're using the blinkers. I love, again, at least for my purposes of recording my drives, I love the fact that I can have the FSD visualization be full screen. So I know there's been some complaints about the heated seat control. You know, I don't find myself needing to touch that constantly, so it doesn't really bother me that it's underneath another menu. But I know it has irritated quite a few people. But for me, it's been great. You know, doesn't bother me in the least. I just love the fact that I can get right to my audio sources right from the screen now without having to kind of fumble through the music portion. And my kids love the, what do they call it? I don't want to get a warning here, but the light show. My kids love the light show. Who am I kidding? I love the light show too. Everybody loves the light show. So with the exception of that one instance where it tried to go around the car when we were at the stoplight, this has been, you know, a pretty uneventful ride. And I suspect, you know, as we continue on from here, that this is what we're going to see. There will come a time when you're not going to want to watch these videos anymore because they're not going to be exciting, because the car is just going to drive roads perfectly. And I feel like 10.8 was a real step in the right direction, at least for me. I even had an instance the other day where, unfortunately, I didn't have my cameras hooked up, but I was making a right turn, and there was I believe it was like a Spectrum, you know, that's our local cable provider. There was a truck parked right up here on this right-hand turn that we're going to make in a little while. It was parked right on the corner of the road. And then there was another car that came up in the oncoming lane on the road that we were turning onto. And I thought, the car, it's probably just going to stop because it's not going to know what to do, or it's going to just kind of go a little nuts. It made the turn perfectly fine. It slowed itself down and it weaved itself right through the two cars, like, you know, just like I would have. But that was one moment where I laughed, saying, like, wow, like that's really. I was really impressed by that maneuver that it was able to pull off. So yeah, if you can't tell, I'm extremely happy with this release across the board. And I know they still have plenty of work to do with, you know, driving on roads that are snow covered. I showed that a couple weeks ago. Another point just after this sped up here. With me, at least, for 10.8, it has done a much better job of reacting to changes in speed limits. So whether it's like, in that instance, we went from a 35 to a 45, it's instantly reacting and speeding the car up. And the same is true when it's going from a faster to a slower speed limit. In previous releases, it was taking a while to slow down, and now it's doing a much better job of slowing down to the speed limit as soon as it sees the change. Now, we are going a little quick right now for this turn, given the road conditions. So I'm gonna just be extra prepared here, because it does like to take this turn kind of quick now. All right, it slowed down slowed down well enough. Yesterday I was coming on this turn and it came in like, you know, really quick. It made the turn perfectly fine, but it did come in pretty quickly. All right. That was an almost perfect drive, so another excellent job. I hope everybody's having had a great New Year last night, or excuse me, 2 nights ago. And look for more drives from me in the next coming days. All right, bye.